Good morning. This is Caroline Goslin with the In Quest of Better podcast. This podcast centers around having conversations which help agents in the real estate industry on their quest to a better life and a better business. And today we have Anthony Coppola and Bill Alvarez from Stewart Title as our guest. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Proud to be here.
Great to be here.
Great. Well, so just to give a short introduction, you are both here representing Stewart Title, who is one of our trusted partners in the real estate transaction. We've been working together for years. Anthony and I, met I think at a networking event many moons ago and just connected, and we like the way we do business together. And Stewart Title really is a title service company that was founded in my home state of Texas in 1893. So you guys have been around for a long time. And the company has managed to grow into one of the largest global title insurance companies and underwriters in the industry. You mentioned that you're in 47 states, 23 countries. Which is really commendable. And the 23 countries reminds me that we just hit the 23 country mark at eXp Realty as well. So we are definitely going global, and it's wonderful to work with a company that has, big vision just like you. So we're also very excited to have you guys as our platinum sponsor for the Quest conference this fall. Really, really appreciate your support, and we're excited to let 200 of our closest colleagues in the tri-state area meet you guys and talk to you guys and see what you do and how you support real estate teams and real estate agents, across the country and the globe. So why don't we start with you guys telling a little bit about yourself and your journey to how you got to the title business. Bill, why don't we start with you?
Sure. Well, like probably 80% of the people in title insurance, I wandered in one day and said, wow, this is kind of cool. I'm going to stay. There are folks there's either two ways, either people that wandered in and really said, this is something I want to do, or people that were born into it. There doesn't seem to be any career track for it, which is kind of sad because it's a great industry. But just one day, I was a realtor for 3 or 4 years. I was successful at it. And just one day I got to a point where I says, wow, I'm burning out because I was working night and day. And this was, back in the dark ages where, everything was paper and, you were printing out things and driving around. And it was the internet had not yet grabbed its hold on people. So there wasn't all of that at that point. And just one day I says, wow, I really want to try something different, and answered a little ad in a newspaper. Real estate related company, no experience necessary, will train. I said, well, that's perfect. So I joined a real estate company in New Jersey. A year later, I was promoted to vice president of sales with them. Ran the entire state for a number of years. From there, moved out into a underwriting side and went with Land America, which at that time was about the second or third largest underwriter in the United States. Stayed with them for a number of years, went through commercial title in a couple of companies. So I've worked mostly for the longest part of my career, which is almost 30 years now, mostly with underwriters. And that's where I like to be. I like to be able to work with my clients and say, don't worry, we have the answer, and going the difference between an agency and an underwriter is night and day, because when you're working with the underwriter, you're talking to the person that makes the final decision. So if something goes a little sideways, and it does, it's part of the nature of our business. Our job is to make sure that we insure the product, that going forward, you own it free and clear. And we find stuff. That's what we get paid to do. But the trick is working with somebody that's able to fix the problem. We don't want to stand there. We're not going to say, hey, this guy screwed it up. That one didn't do it right. That doesn't matter. We're going to fix it. And that's part of why I've really enjoyed being with the underwriters. Stewart, coming up on 130 years, we must have done something right. We are the number one premier title company in Canada. We have been for the past probably 5 years now. our goal within the next year, 2 years, is going to be the number one title company in the United States. Very tech heavy, a lot of great stuff coming down the line that I can't even talk about. But there is a ton of stuff that we're working on behind the scenes and very proud of.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? I did not know, and this explains a lot, Bill, that you used to be a realtor at the very, very beginning of your journey.
Yeah.
And that, when we originally met, like I felt your love for the industry. And, even better than that, it was really like your understanding of the industry. And now that, now that I know that you've been in the trenches, it explains a lot of, how you do your business and how you relate to the business. And yeah, I mean, you guys definitely are tech heavy. And I forgot to mention earlier, but you guys have gotten some really amazing accolades recently. So before we go into Anthony's background, I just wanted to mention you guys won the Tech 100 Real Estate Honoree from Housing Wire. The Houston Chronicle recognized you as one of the top tech companies in Texas. The Financial Technology Report recognized you as top 100 financial technology companies. So congrats on that. And I guess, 130 years experience, does add up. And in the end, like you guys have really grown with the times, and I commend you for that. So Anthony, how about you? How did you get into the title industry?
Well, I came in the other way from Bill. I was drafted into it. I am second generation title. I've been involved in the industry since 1983. My father was an agent for nearly 50 years in Freehold, and I grew up in Monmouth County. My first job when I was 14 years old was the first day he received computers in the office and had about 30,000 index cards that had to be entered because the computer system is only as good as its data entry. So over a series of 5 or 6 summers, I entered all those index cards. So we had a database, and my other job was photocopying. And I said, why photocopying? What am I going to learn there? And he said, you'll see. So as you photocopy, you get to start to read what you're photocopying and ask questions. So I literally learned the business from the copier or the ground up. So over a series of summers through high school, college, and law school, I did almost every phase of the title business, from typing endorsements, reading titles, searching titles, sales, a little bit of everything. So that's my background. After my father sold the agency in 2011, I worked for a couple different underwriters and large agencies. So I've got to see the perspective from both sides of the fence. And now, nearly 30 years full-time in my career, I'm very excited to be at Stewart because we are a national leader of title services. We have an unmatched culture. We are a trusted title partner. With the national, international platform, I can service our clients better. And now, tasked with the growth of New Jersey, with the power of Stewart behind me, we have unmatched customer service. I've always been a big believer in relationships more than sales. I don't know all the answers, but I do ask the best questions because I can always find the answers. But I am a reliable partner. Stewart is a reliable partner. We are there. We are focused on your needs from beginning to closing in a timely manner. We're the company that you want to do business with, not have to do business with.
Right.
And I think it's a very important differentiation.
I love that. Yes. And we really chose to do business with you because there are a lot of title companies, of all different varying sizes, different services, out there. And I, really, and I love your story of, working for your dad's company and making the photocopies. I kind of relate to that because my parents had a small business, and I was drafted to work every summer there, and I did photocopies, and I was reading what I was photocopying, and you learn a lot. And I think that you also, when you see somebody building a business like that, like your father, my parents, you do come to understand that it is a relationship business, that you have to build relationships and be, create that trust with people. And I think that helped me a lot in my entrepreneurial journey. And I know that it did for you because I know that you've been a great supporter of us and we can always count on you. So I appreciate the background there on Stewart. But let's take a little pivot here and really talk about, let's just kind of get super granular. Like, what is title, and why does a home buyer need to have a title company be involved in their home buying process? And I'll let Bill answer that if he wants to go first.
That's fine. You know what? Title's kind of a fascinating, weird little animal. Essentially, to make the simplest of it, is what we do is we search the background behind a property. And for a history buff or somebody that really likes history, this can be absolutely fascinating, because I've actually seen things that have gone back to the 1600s. With deeds and so forth, especially here in New Jersey and on the East Coast, where we have history that goes back to the 1600s. So it's pretty interesting. But the short part of what we do as a title company is we research the background of a property when you buy it, to make sure that there are no claims against that property by anybody else. The reason for that is really simple, because when we're finished with it and we give you your title policy, we want to be able to say, now, when you're ready to sell your property or do something else with it, you can do it. It's yours. It's free and clear. But as an underwriter, we go one step further. Every time that we issue a policy, we hold back reserves to guarantee that the money will be there, and that money is held in the side. Stewart has the largest claims reserve in the industry. Bar none. We have a larger claims reserve than Fidelity, larger than First American, and that's by design. We want to make sure that we're there and that we have that there. So if there's ever a claim, and sometimes it happens, something gets missed, something pops up years later when you're trying to sell or refinance, you want to be able to be working with a company that says, hey, wow, no problem, we've got your back, because it can be very expensive to negotiate a claim. So, and a lot of times the problem with that runs into, if you worked with an agent, it's 5 years now, the agent's gone. Now you got to track down. First, you have to track down, what did I do with the policy? Who did I use? And then figure out, who can I call? So we kind of try to solve all that. And that's a really simplified explanation of what title insurance is. And we could go for days. And if we brought in one of the experts that's really into like the history of it, we'd be here forever. But it's pretty fascinating.
Anthony, is there anything that you want to add to that explanation to somebody who is coming at this? They just put an offer on their house. They're going to be having a conversation with their attorney, and they're faced with questions on who do you want to use for title, and how would you explain what the title services are?
Well, as Bill said, the goal is free and clear ownership. Okay. And with Stewart having the largest reserve system out of anyone, they know that if something goes wrong, in the rare cases that it does, that we're there to protect them. But mostly I would encourage the attorney to choose Stewart Title because their license is on the line. And if they're working with a partner they're not familiar with, they could be ultimately responsible if something goes wrong. You don't know how strong that title agency is. You don't know how long their examiners have been there. When I received my title license, it was a 3 to 4 month process of 6 hours a week in order to obtain that license. You now can get a full-time license in 40 hours. Okay. It doesn't mean you know what you're doing. Okay. Just like in lawyers practice law and doctors practice medicine, this isn't something you want to practice. You want to have years and years of experience behind you, because title can be simple. It can also be very complex. And when it's your home or your property, which could be the largest investment of your life, you want to have the security of Stewart Title behind you. All right. You don't know how well versed that attorney is in real estate, whether they do something once in a while or on a daily basis. So that attorney has to feel comfortable in dealing with Stewart, because we're really managing the closing after inspections to closing. Okay. We're handling full settlement services in 2022. I really don't have any clients who handle it all themselves these days. So who do they want to partner with? And if the buyer has questions, of course, they can call me or anyone on our team. But they want to know it's in good hands. It's one less thing to worry about with the myriad of issues they have in buying a home, which can be a very emotional decision. We're there for them.
I love it. And, you bring up the idea of a team. I mean, I think that that's why we work really well together. And I think that, we have the same goal, which is making our clients, making sure that our clients are in the best of hands, making sure that they're going to hit the least number of bumps in the road on their way to their closing table. And I think that it's important to know that, we as full-time realtors, we've created the Experience New Jersey team here in New Jersey. We cover most of northern and central New Jersey, and our agents, join us because we have created our systems and our processes, and we have vetted our vendors and created what we call is really like a dream team for our clients in terms of, once they work with us to find their home, we then connect them with our attorney partners, who then work in tandem with you. We then connect them with insurance companies that will make sure that they have the right policy to protect them, and then different trade vendors to make sure that their house is taken care of if they, with plumbing and electrical and all of that. So it's a process, and you want to make sure that you're in the hands of professionals. And I think that we've become kind of a dream team because we work with a lot of attorneys together. Ashley Molson being one of them. She's actually going to be one of our sponsors at the Quest conference as well. So you'll be able to, any agent who's going to be coming to the Quest conference will be able to meet who we at the Experience New Jersey team partner with, and really use to create a seamless process for our clients. So I'm excited about that. You know that there's like the big bad wolf out there, which is cyber fraud. And we know that that's a huge problem right now, in a lot of industries, but certainly in this industry where we hear quite often, of people doing massive wire transfers on the day of closing, and it not getting to its, rightful destination. So I think like there was some staggering figures were that there was like $213 million worth of cyber fraud in 2020. I'm sure that number has grown now. What are you guys doing at Stewart to kind of prevent cyber fraud and protect your clients? Because I know you guys have a lot of relationships and partnerships to secure all of that, and I'd love to hear about it.
We do, and you know what, cyber fraud is probably the single biggest fear. That's if you ever ask a title person what keeps you up at night, that keeps me up at night. Quite honestly, there's a cyber fraud that takes place almost every single day somewhere in the United States. We also know that almost every email address that's related to anything with real estate has been compromised at one point or another. It's a fact, and it's a fact that the bad guys have gotten really good at figuring it out. The days of like the horrible looking email with the bad language and misspellings and all that's gone. They learned how to write in English, and they learned how to make it look extremely professional. So what we did a couple of years ago now, we partnered up with a company called Certified. And Certified was started by a gentleman who quite honestly got into it because he got tagged. He had a cyber fraud, and says there's got to be a better way. We work with Certified on every single file. We don't even ask anymore. It's in there. We pay for it. I don't care. There is an option to pick up from the buyer side for a couple of dollars, $1 million worth of insurance, to guarantee that nothing happens to your money. To make it really simple, and you could go into this for hours, there's tons of information on it on the internet. But what we do essentially is at the very beginning of the transaction, and when we have everybody's information, we send them a notification and we establish bona fides right up front, so that no matter what, as we move through the transaction, we're not dealing. We're going back to this. We're going to go back to this, and we're going to say, hey, something's wrong. This doesn't match what we had, and it really does make a big difference. But the bigger side of that is, hey, even with everything you do, you could still end up in trouble. And I hate to say it, but it's a human error most of the time. Somebody clicked the wrong button. Somebody, these things come in and it's like, oh, you have to do this right away. If it says right away, there's something wrong. So that's the first big red flag. But the great part about working with Certified is that they have all of the connections with the Secret Service and with the FBI. And the second that we get them the information, the ball starts rolling and they get out there to recover. They have a really super good recovery rate, but it all depends on the amount of time. Now, we have a partnership with them, so it's with us, it's pretty automatic. Other people can do it, and they charge a lot of money if you get caught. I mean, they will do it for you on the side, but the fee is quite expensive. Well, you should have signed up early, but you really need that kind of expertise on the background. You need that kind of expertise and those connections within the government and banking to be able to stop this. Because the odds are, if it lasts 24 hours, your chances of stopping it diminish about 50%. If it goes 48 hours, your chances drop to about 75%. So time is really of the essence, and being able, for our folks on our teams to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, wow, we've got something going on, and get that taken care of right away. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, I love that. And that's, just another reason to work with an established company. People don't realize that, I'm all for small businesses and, entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
But when it comes to things like this that have, a global reach, you really want an established company that, has those relationships, and can also afford those add-ons, because I suspect that, you guys are paying a little extra to add that service to what you're giving your clients. And not every company can do that. And I empathize with that, because we do that, in our business as well. The Experience
Sure.
team, we go the extra mile, even if it costs us a little more, because we know that it will improve the customer experience, which will lead to eventually more business. When people have a good experience, they want to, shout it from the rooftops and send you their friends and family. So it's definitely worth the investment.
It's just to add one thing though. It's not even a big investment per file. It's really not. I mean, it's a small amount of money per file, but when you're dealing with a small company, that eats into their bottom line. They're not willing to make that choice. They're not. It's like, wow, that's $25. Yeah, I don't want. Let's see if we can get somebody to pay for that. It's not about that. What it really is about, it's about your reputation.
Yeah.
And you can't put a price on that. So if your reputation is on the line, and you can't help somebody that just lost their deposit or lost their earnest money, or whatever the case may be, where's your reputation then? And that's really what makes the big difference, because like your company, everything you do is about having that reputation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've talked about kind of what this means for consumers. If we could just kind of touch upon what you guys do for agents and the technology that you have to support agents in supplying information to them, and helping them do their job. Can you, I know you use remote online notary, but you are a tech-heavy firm, which we appreciate, because eXp Realty is also a very technologically forward company. We are the first cloud-based company with our global campus in the metaverse. So, my ears like to perk up whenever I hear, tech and how tech is making business better and more efficient. So can you touch upon a few of the tools that you have for agents?
Sure. I'm going to say about 5 years ago, we as a company sat back and says, what's important to our client base? And we started looking at and focusing on the things that we could bring forward to our client base, the realtors, that would help them the most. And we decided that as part of that answer, it was going to be, if I can help you grow your business, can we be partners and work together? And so we looked at tools that would work for that. The most of the stuff that we work with is very, very centric to farming, because you know what, it all starts with farming, and it all starts with a realtor that's out there driving around or making a phone call and reaching out. So to do that, we put together some farming tools. few years back, we bought a company just to get the app they had, which is now our Stewart Now app, which is available to our partners. The app is free to use. There's a small charge if you want to do a smart farm. That's a whole thing, and that's another thing, like a $3 charge, very expensive. But it allows you to actually go in and focus on a particular community and get all the bona fides about it. How many houses have sold? How much is the equity average in the area? How many homes are owner occupied? And you can run all that, but even better, by running a smart farm on that same property, you find out how many of those homes are likely to list within the next 3 to 6 months. You know what? If as a realtor, you've got a limited amount of money that you spend. I mean, anybody that thinks being a realtor is a cheap job is out of their minds, because it all comes out of the realtor's pocket. They're figuring it out, and it all adds up. By being able to focus on homes that are likely to list. So instead of having one giant farm with 1,000 people in it, you have one farm with 60 people, and then you have another farm with another 60 people. But these are all people that are likely to list. So you're likely to get a better hit rate. So we try to partner with that. We also have other tools that we work with to actually drill down and focus on very granular, specific things. On top of that, we work with programs that allow us to help you make that process even quicker, because we can go ahead and take those names and addresses and have them appended for you, so that we can give you email addresses, we can give you cell phone numbers, we can get you out there to make that contact and that connection as quickly as possible. We've got a ton of other tools that out there that are available that we work with our agents and our partners. We have training programs that we work with. We partner with marketing programs. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but it all starts at the farm. It all starts in where the listings come from, because listings become sales. Sales become prospects. It all about how to do that. And one of the things that we're working on right now is setting it up to help our realtors to maintain that connection to those people years from now. Because unfortunately, what happens is they get busy, they forget. What happens to the folks that I sold a house to 5 years ago? 5 years from now, they're ready to move again. Right. And if they don't remember who you are, shame on you. So we're working on things to help keep that up in the forefront.
Right. Well, I appreciate that, and I think this is, again, why we really enjoy working with you guys. You value the realtor and their role in the transaction. You support us. You provide us with data to do our job better. You provide us with tools to be more efficient. And that's, at the end of the day, you help us run a better business. And we appreciate you for that. So any lasting comments, Anthony, Bill, before we wrap this up? I really appreciate your time today. And we really look forward to seeing you guys in October.
Thank you, Caroline. Yes, as Bill said wonderfully, we have the tools to help you farm and grow your business. And I think it's part of Stewart's conscious effort, not just to provide the value of top-notch title services. You're expecting that, okay? It's really the value add of how we can help you grow. We value the relationship and the partnership so much that you come to expect accurate, timely title services. But then enabling to grow here in New Jersey, throughout the country, to be a partner who's ahead of the curve, technology-based, plus with the service, which is the backbone of everything we do. I think that kind of reliability and faith is what's going to enable us to keep growing our partnership forward with you, and why we should be the preferred title choice of your clients and your attorneys and your lenders, and of course your realtor team.
Amazing. Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you in October. And have a wonderful weekend. And Bill, always good to see you.
You too. Thank you. Have a great time.
Thanks for the opportunity. Be well.
Bye now.
Bye.